Hello class, we're back again. We want to talk about story plots. You guys have been working on this. We worked on this when we did our snowman report. So our snowman
Our snowman.
our snowman story. Sorry guys, just afternoon getting a little funny here. All right, so we're talking about story plots. You want to go in your book to page 204, and we're going to be, that's your blue reader. Mrs. Lopez is going to show you which one that is.
This one right here, guys.
We might even say thank you, Vanna White. Okay, so let's review. The plot is what happens in the story. So on page 204, I just want to read this for you. It says on your focus skills, it says the plot is what happens in a story. At the beginning, the characters have a problem. During the middle of the story, they try to find a solution. At the end, the characters usually solve the problem. So you have a problem, you have important events that happen, and then you have a solution. You can compare the plots of two stories and think about the questions that you'll have from them. How are characters' problems alike, or how are they different? How do characters solve the problems in the same way? We did music a couple of weeks ago, and this week we're doing Serious Farm. Both stories had a problem, but each character resolved the problem differently, and the problems were just a little bit different. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have you guys go watch this video. It's called Plot Mountain, so it'll help you see what you're doing when you're looking at the plots.
If you're going to Plot Mountain, you gotta start somewhere. We'll call this the introduction. And guess what happens there? You describe the characters and the settings. That's the who, what, when, and where. The characters are the people that are there. What do they look like? Why should we care? And the setting is the place where they be. What exactly do the characters see on their way to Plot Mountain? At the start of Plot Mountain, you're gonna have to go up. We call this the rising action, and here starts the plot. There's a conflict in the story. You should describe exactly what. Like a character has a problem to work through with themselves or the world. What should they do? Or maybe there's some big arguments, or some dramatic natural events on the way up Plot Mountain. Keep going up Plot Mountain until you reach the top. We call this the climax, and here you cannot stop. You must face the biggest problem that leads to a turning point. Here the story is the most intense, with emotions, drama, and suspense. But action like this cannot stay. The story must change and go a different way on the top of Plot Mountain. After the top of Plot Mountain, you're gonna start to go down. We call this the falling action, and it lasts until flat ground. There's still action in the story, but it will start to slow down. So the worst is over, yeah, the worst is through, but now what will the characters do? There are still some problems, how long will they last? But don't forget the ending's coming fast on the way down Plot Mountain. After climbing down Plot Mountain, well, it's gotta end somewhere. We call this the resolution, and what will happen there? You should answer all the questions until you are aware that the conflicts in the story from before aren't there anymore. Unless there's gonna be a sequel or a part two, and then you'll have to think, what will the characters do the next time on Plot Mountain?
This character. All right, so there's our video, and we'll go ahead and please pull out now page 172. All right, so if you guys have it, we're going to look at Freddy Tries a Worm. So let's go ahead. We're going to read this together. Freddie the dog was tired of eating flies. I want to eat worms, he said. Freddie tried a worm, but it got tangled in his tongue. Help, said Freddie. It tickled his throat. Yuck. And Freddie went back to eating flies. All right, so now Miss East is going to read to you Wriggly Wiggly Flies.
Wriggly.
Wriggly, I was right. Okay, what?
Wriggly flies. Wriggly the worm was tired of crawling on the ground. I wish I could fly, he said. Just then Wriggly spotted a bubble. He slithered into it, and the bubble carried him high into the air. Wow, cried Wriggly. I'm flying. I'm really flying. So here is the question. How are these stories alike? And how are these stories different? Compare and contrast. Point to it.
Write the answers.
Oh,
We can write the answers.
we can.
So let's hold on, guys. We're going to try to write the answers on the board here.
So how are the stories alike?
Clear it. You hit it a couple. There it goes. Clear the screen. Get it white. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Oh, okay. So the question is, ooh. I just like my line thick. I'm going to abbreviate a little bit. How are the stories alike? And then there's a space for you to write. So the answer is that's an E. Now you might have the wording a little bit different, but I wrote both want to do something they can't do or they think they can't do. The answer in the book says Freddie and Wriggly are tired of the same old thing. But however you write it, that's pretty much it. Okay. How are the solutions alike? How are the solutions alike? It didn't change. Change for me. There you go. Both of them try something new. So their problem is alike and their solution is alike. So that's good. And then
Next to other
the one about how the stories are different. Okay, so how the stories are different, you're going to try it. You could put the video on pause while you try to write something down. We'll give you a chance to do that. But that's okay. And then we'll come right back. Okay, so you just pause the video and you wrote down something for how the stories are different. So how do I go to a new blank page?
Just trash it.
Trash it. Oh, it seems so permanent.
You might have to pull it up.
Okay, so you can see how the stories are different and how my answers match your answers, which hopefully they will. How are the events in the story different? So I'm going to abbreviate a little bit just to match your page. Sorry, I'm doing the best I can.
They don't ever match.
How the stories are different. Okay, and I'm gonna do one little thing. That's eraser, right? Oh, no, it is not.
That's eraser.
Well, erase the whole thing. I thought it was a little eraser, but I was wrong. That's okay. I was just gonna write how again. Okay, how the stories are different. So, you guys should have written, ready, let me go like this, ready? The characters solve their problems differently. So Freddie, you have to identify. If you didn't write Freddie, if you just wrote Freddie's a fly, right? If you wrote the fly did this, then that's fine. Freddie the frog, sorry, he's not a fly, he's a frog. He would get mad at me if he heard me say that. Freddie solved his by eating a worm. There, gives us a swim around. I'm going to put a period on the end of that. I wrote Fred. Well, I just used Fred for short. And then Wrigley, as you remember from the story, Wrigley because he really wanted to fly, he ended up flying. So I'm going to say he flew in a bubble. Okay, so we're almost done with this page, although we're going to talk about how the solutions are different. So how are the stories different? Freddie solved his by eating a worm. Wrigley flew in a bubble. So that's how he solved his problem. And then we're going to say, how are the story solutions different? Okay, so the difference is we know that Fred didn't like his worm. I forgot my 2 finger spaces right there. Freddie didn't like the worm. Okay, but Wrigley really liked flying in the bubble. Okay, so the point is we know that these stories are very, very simple, but what you're learning how to do is compare and contrast and see how things are alike and how they're different. And sometimes that's just true in life, and sometimes it's true in a story or in different characters in a story. So that's this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed telling it to you.